Alright, hello everybody, my name is SpeZy, and welcome back to another video. I'm recording this video quite a bit later in the day than I usually do. It's like getting dark outside. My background has just gone completely dark in the last like 10 minutes, so yeah, I guess you're gonna see time progress as this video goes on. Today we are, on the opposite of that, we are doing our predictions for MCC Colour the World. Ironically, my room isn't that colourful right now, but anyway, let's make our way into this. We can turn that down a little bit. Right, that should be good. And we need to fix this, and then we are good to go. All right, let's get into the first team, which is the Red Rabbits with Jeremy Fraser. Link Tiger, is it Link Tidger? But they're Dutch, so that's probably a better way to pronounce that. I'm just gonna go Link Tiger, Milkberry, and Sneak Snag. I'm gonna assume they all speak English, given like it's Milkberry and Sneak Snag definitely do, and then like I don't know how the other two would communicate with them if not, because I doubt Milkberry and Sneak Snag speak Dutch. So I'm gonna assume that they all speak English here. So yeah. It's a pretty cool team to start us off with, but I don't know if they're the strongest team. I did make an effort this event to watch everyone's like gameplay who's like new, so I know how roughly good everyone is. Link Tiger is the first newcomer, and they were the first person I watched, so I actually don't remember them that well, but I do not remember them being that great or playing a ton of Minecraft rather, so... this team might be on the weaker side, but it is going to be a very fun team to watch, and I wish them the best for the event. I don't have too much more to add to that, because I don't actually watch any of these creators really at all, to be honest. I don't have too much to comment on, but it should be a fun team. Yeah. Right. On the opposite side of the spectrum, with creators I don't watch, we have a couple here I do watch. I say a couple, the main one I watch here is the first player here, Corey Way. And then we have Hannah XX Rose, Siren, and Tina Kidden. Corey Way is going to be looking to put in a good performance, maybe like top 5 or something like that. And he definitely can do that, because Corey is just good at Minecraft. Hannah is an extremely underrated player at events, in my opinion. People sleep on Hannah 24/7, and it's kind of crazy, because especially recently, Hannah has been putting in an absolute shift in terms of event performances. Next on the team is Siren, who doesn't play any Minecraft from what I could tell. They are a VTuber, and I don't even remember what games they play. I don't think they play Minecraft, so I guess that's what they were going for when they were trying to balance the teams. They went, how do we balance Corey Way and Hannah? Yeah, we'll just put someone who doesn't play Minecraft on. And the final person is Tina Kitten, who doesn't play a ton of Minecraft either, but she does have some experience in MCC. So that'll be useful. But yeah, this is one of those teams where it's going to be interesting to see them all on the stage and seeing how they perform. Because the thing about this event is, one, there's only 6 games, and two, a lot of there's a bit more pressure because you're on stage in front of a big crowd playing. You know, the crowd is there, and the blood is kind of pumping with. So it's a little bit different to normal MCCs. I mean, but I think this is the 4th Twitch Rivals now, so. I mean, there's some players who I think will be getting used to it, but for the new players in this event, it's going to be a bit of a shock. So definitely experience is going to be a big factor in this event. So there are some teams that might look weaker. Oh my goodness, that is a loud song. Let's just... I don't want to listen to this either. I'll listen to this though. Anyway, so yeah, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, experience is going to be a good factor. So there might be some teams that look statistically weaker, but they are better. Because, like, slightly better than they look because of the experience. Also, shoutouts, I'm using, again, a Reddit post. Whoever makes, like, Reddit posts, just, like, posting all the teams, thank you, because it's so much easier than using, like, Twitter or something. For these types of videos, this one was made by Dreamon_Reddit43. So thank you very much. For, I say, letting me use your post. You didn't give me any permission, but I'm going to assume that it's fine to use this post. Anyway, let's move to the next team. We have the Yellow Yaks with Kambam, 010. This is the closest we'll get to Cam Man being in MCC. We got the wrong Cam. I'm kidding. Cam is actually, it does seem quite cool. I did watch some of their stream, and they seem pretty entertaining. So it'll be good to see them in the event. In the Littlewood and Solidarity Gaming, and the Orion Sound are the final three. And I guess I was just mentioning the experience factor. These are three players who do have some very good experience. I'm just turning the music up again. I keep fiddling with the sound in this video. These are three players who are very experienced in MCC. I don't recall how much experience they have on stage. Ollie has definitely played in one, but I don't know actually about Jimmy and Martin. But nonetheless, this should be another one of those very entertaining teams, similar to Red in that sense. But I think this team might have a little bit better communication than Red. Albeit I do think that Red might be stronger in terms of like player for player. So it'll be interesting to see like these two types of teams go up against each other, to see who's better. That's definitely something that's going to be very interesting. But yeah, overall, I think the team's going to be... This is going to be one of the most entertaining POVs in the event, in my opinion. So definitely worth... If you're not sure who to watch, this is one of those teams that you definitely could consider, because this team does seem pretty cool. And also for Kanban, they seemed okay when I watched them. Nothing spectacular, but they seemed alright. Knew how to play the game, so... I didn't watch much footage, but from what I could tell, they looked like they could get some points, so good for them. Also, I realize Ollie's profile picture is just the Minecraft movie, but I don't even know how is this. I don't know how this image was made. This must just be not green screen. It's probably just Photoshop. He's probably photoshopped him over one of the characters. That's probably what's happened here. Anyway, pretty funny. Right, moving on to the Lamas. We have 5UP, Michaela, Lewis Fulham, and we have Tubbo. This team is gonna be, I haven't seen any predictions, but from from what I understand about events, I feel like this team would be quite underrated, because I think people forget that how good 5UP is sometimes. 5UP is a good event player. Like, if you see him in Block Wars, and hopefully this MCC, he does well. And Fulham and also Tubbo are both, in my opinion, quite... Maybe underrated by the community, honestly. Maybe Fulham is a bit overrated, because I think people just assume that every single person who speedruns Minecraft is, like, the same level and, like, S tier. Like, I don't know. I was reading this post, and it was, like, who would be the best... I forget if it was the best Block Wars or MCC player, like, theoretically. And it was like, oh yeah, you could get top speedrunners, like, and they listed, like, Drip 120, because obviously he has the world record. But in my head, like, I think most people would agree that Drip is not as good as, like, Feinberg, for example. Like, if you actually understand mechanics in speedrunning. So it's just, like, I feel like people don't really understand what makes a speedrunner a good Minecraft player or a good Minecraft event player. So I feel like that's a pretty silly thing about the event community, which hopefully people start to, like, actually watch gameplay and be like, oh, okay, this person's actually just better. And instead of just, like, looking at, like, stats when it comes to that kind of thing. Because... I don't know, I think people get overrated a lot and underrated a lot in this kind of, in a certain, like, parts of the community, if that makes any sense at all. Like, people will say underrate, like, Smallish Beans, for example, for the longest time. That's kind of changed recently, but, like, for the longest time, Smallish Beans was underrated because he's in that, like, building community and around all of the Homocraft stuff. So people just assume that he's at this base level when actually he exceeds that. So I think this team could fall victim to that in terms of the community perception for a few of these players. And finally, I haven't mentioned Michaela. Michaela is pretty cool. I've seen them on some teams before, and they are, I think it'll be a very good asset to this team as well. Definitely rounds out some certain, like, it's hard to describe, but rounds out some sort of, like, communication areas that might not happen in this team. Maybe potentially bringing a level head, a different view on certain things. I phrase that really weirdly. A different view on certain things, like a different perspective in some of the games. Maybe can offer a bit of advice, which immediately doesn't sound like, oh, like Michaela's probably the bottom player in this team. They're going to give advice. Well, some players will just see things in different ways, and I think Michaela does that really well on a group of people who are all similarly-ish skilled. Michaela is in a different sort of, like, league in that sense, so a little bit below. But that also can be a good thing in a certain, like, visionary... I don't know, not visionary, like... like you can just see things in different ways. I don't know. I'm over exaggerating, not over exaggerating. I'm over wording it or whatever. I'm trying to hit a certain word count on my essay or something. I don't know. But yeah, let's just move on. This team's pretty cool. The green Geckos with Castcrafter, Let's Hugo, Norrex, and Witch Tiger. I think some of these people played in the last, or one of the last Twitch rivals, but I really don't know much about them. I believe they speak a different language, because I'd assume that's the case, but I really don't know much about them, so I will have a look at some of the stats, but I'm not going to take predicting them too seriously, because I just simply don't know about really enough about any of these guys. So if any of you guys know, I got a comment on my last video, on the Block Wars video, telling me about the Spanish team, which was interesting. So if any of you like have any knowledge about these teams that I don't really know much about, then it'll be lovely to read that, because that'd be pretty useful. And the more I can learn about these things, the better, because then I can talk more about it in future videos. But unfortunately, I don't have that insight here. But this is a team, from my knowledge, some of these people did alright. I think Castcrafter is new. I just don't recognize the profile picture. I think the other three, though, played. And I don't remember them being too bad, so I'm sure they could do alright. But I don't know. I seriously do not remember too well. But anyway, let's move on to the next team. The Cyan Coyotes with Bekimon, FedMC, Filzer, and CPK. I think this team maybe honestly could get slept on again. A really consistent across-the-board team. Going to have great communication. They're going to have great laughs. And that's a really big bonus, guys. I think people are going to forget that this event, if you're just able to relax, you're going to get points off of that, because there's going to be people who are nervous in this event, because again, the impact of playing on stage is a real thing. So, I don't know, if it's just like Rockets with Rush, and then like CPK and Filzer and Fit and Bekimon are having a laugh, it's like that's just going to be good for them. Like there is no downside to that. As long as they are focused enough and they are just having a good time, that will be a really positive asset to have in this event. And I think this team could do really well because of that. It definitely will be one of the most viewed teams. And it's going to be a really entertaining perspective as well. So another perspective I'd really recommend watching for this event if you do not know who you're going to watch. Yeah, I haven't got too much else to say. I think CPK and Phil are both really solid players, and Fit and Bekimon and people who you shouldn't who you shouldn't doubt, who you shouldn't sleep on. I was looking for. And yeah, that's about it. Pretty consistent across the board, and I think they could do pretty good in the event. Especially a game like Railroad Rush pops into my head. Obviously Rocket Speed Rush I just mentioned, which would also be good for them because of Phil and CPK being quite good at that game. But Railroad Rush seems like a game where I think they have a lot of combined Minecraft knowledge, and they could think fast in those types of situations, so I think that could be quite good for them. Right. The Aqua Axelottals, consisting of Jack. I call them Jack. Maybe it's like Javuk, but I'm gonna call them Jack. It's simpler. Orange Juice, Shadoon, and Soup for Eloise. I watched a bit of Jack and they seemed okay, so I haven't got too much else. They are just a decent player. I don't know too much about their comms or how they come across in a group. But because I haven't like watched that much, but from the gameplay wise, they looked okay. Orange Juice is pretty solid. Definitely an above average player. Shadoon is one of the biggest wildcards in really event. It comes at any Minecraft event, Shadoon and MCC or Shadoon and Block Wars. Shadoon is just a massive wildcard, and I think a lot of that comes down to the groups that he plays in, the teams that he's on. I think that's a really big factor in Shadoon's success or downfall. But I think Shadoon plays better when he's sort of able to gel into a team. Now, that might not necessarily happen on this team, but what will happen is that the adrenaline's going to be going because, again, the impact of being on stage. And I think Shadoon is someone who would really, really benefit from that. And I think we saw that in a previous Twitch Rivals event as well. So, immediately, that's making me think that we're going to get the good Shadoon in this event. We're going to get some points put up by Mr. 666. And finally, Soup for Eloise. A lovely picture, I believe, next to the London Eye. So, I know, great camera work there. Oh, you can't even see the picture because my thing. Bang. Look at this. Look at this cropping. Well done. Cropping? That's not even the word. I don't know. It's a scenic photo. It looks lovely. And I think similar to how Michaela works on the Orange Ocelots, I believe it was, I think could just bring a level head to this team. Soup can come across as pretty chilled and chaotic at the same time, but, you know, maybe she can bring that. I don't know. We'll have to see. But yeah, this team, I think, could do very well, and potentially even is a little bit underrated. Dare I use the U word. Moving on to the Blue Bats, we have Atwalls, JL Tommy, Skyarts, and the Gill 84. Another team I don't know too much about. I believe this is a French team. I believe, maybe it wasn't this exact team, but I definitely recognize Atwalls in a previous Twitch Rivals. So, again, if any French viewers, I'm pretty confident this is French. Imagine they're just not French, I'm just saying French. It just sounds so French. Is he eating a baguette? A baguette? I don't know. Or a pain au chocolat? Or whatever. You know what I mean? This has got to be French. He's been called in 4K, what can I say? But no. You're guilty! But I don't know. This team could do pretty well. I don't know too much about them. I'll read into the stats before I make my ranking at the end of this video. So, make sure to stick around for that. Yeah, you. Stick around for that. Okay, we're coming near to the end of the teams now. The Purple Pandas with Avid MC, Shovel, Smager, and Smallish Beans. I forgot what I watched with Avid. I think Avid was okay as well. I feel like all of the newcomers can hold their own to a certain extent, which is interesting. Like, it's sort of not really a mixed bunch, like a sort of very similar bunch, like in terms of skill. I mean, and they've got MC in their names, so they must know some things about Minecraft. Maybe they could add something to like a Railroad Rush again, maybe with some game knowledge. Who knows? Yeah, then we have Shovel, who's been pretty consistent in MCC over the years. Just a consistent participant. I don't really see them getting too nervous under the pressure, but we'll have to see. Smager, who, again, very consistent. Maybe a little bit of a tier above Shovel, but overall, sort of similar players in a sense of the way they come across and the way they communicate. And Smallish Beans, definitely the top frag on this team. Joel is just a very, very solid Minecraft player. Definitely someone who you definitely will be pushing for the top 10, at least in this event. Maybe even the top 5. But we'll have to see. And finally, we have the Pink Parrots with AMZ, Gucky, Pangy, and Sandwich Lord. Pangy, I believe this is their first event. They are finally in an MCC, which is very good to see. Because I think they've been wanting to be in for a while, if I'm not too mistaken. Again, I'm still trying to refresh myself on my MCC knowledge. Like, I know this is my second MCC predictions video I've made this year, but like, you know, I'm only a little bit more knowledgeable than the last one, so it's going to take me a while to get back into the flow. Hopefully you all don't mind, but I believe Pangy's been wanting to get in for a while, so it's good to see them in the event. AMZ and Gucky work great as a duo. I believe. I mean, I think they're a couple, so I mean, I think what could go wrong? And Sandwich Lord, who is probably the best mechanical player in this event. So that's a pretty big plus to have on your team. Pangy, I believe, is a pretty decent player. Someone you'd expect in sort of the B tier kind of range. To my knowledge, at least. Maybe even A tier. I don't know. But obviously it's their first event, so you'd assume that they would come a little bit below what they'd expect after, you know, a few events and you kind of got an average. Yeah, I don't know. This team's a bit of a curveball because you look at this team and you go, well, Pangy and Sandwich Lord, that's a strong duo, but the chaos that could come from this team might hurt them in a sense, but also could be really good for dealing with nerfs. So you kind of just don't really know. This team is kind of, in terms of how many points they'll get, this kind of team is kind of all chips on red. Like, it's very, it's hard to call. I don't really know how well this team will do, so I'm gonna have to just make. I mean, obviously, I don't know how any team is gonna do, but especially for this team, I'm gonna have to make a very big educated guess because it's gonna be very difficult to figure out where this team is gonna finish. Well, those are all of the 10 teams that we're going to be seeing in MCC Colour the World, which will be going on Sunday morning. Actually, no, it'll be early Sunday afternoon for me. But Sunday morning for the Americans watching. And Sunday night for the Australians watching. That was my best attempt at the accent. But yeah, Okay, well, now we've gone through all the teams, I'm going to pause the recording right here, and I'm going to go and make my predictions and talk you through them, and then we will close out the video. So, I will see you in just a minute. Okay, I have finished making my predictions, and it's time for me to present them to you all. Luckily, they didn't take a ton of time. In 10th place, I have the Blue Bats. In 9th place, I have the Red Rabbits. In 8th place, I have the Yellow Yaks. In 7th place, I have the Purple Pandas. In 6th place, I have the Cyan Coyotes. In 5th place, I have the Green Geckos. In 4th place, I have the Orange Ocelots. In 3rd place, I have the Pink Parrots. In 2nd place, I have the Lime Llamas. In 1st place, I have the Aqua Axelottals. Yeah. Those predictions actually didn't take a ton of time to put together. I felt like everything kind of just fell into the right slot for me. Maybe I'll change my mind. I was sort of debating between, like, the teams in, like, 3rd to 5th. I had, like, green in 3rd for a bit, but I don't know. I landed on these, and I think these look about right to me. And I felt very quickly that I felt that Lime and Aqua were the two strongest teams in the event, and I had to decide who's going to win Dodgeball. And I ended up going with Aqua, is the team that I think would win Dodgeball, personally, but I don't know. We'd have to see. It would be a very close dodgeball between those two teams. I was struggling to pick a winner there. I should say. I was being a dodgeball. We got the dodgeball music. So yeah. That was pretty challenging, but I think Aqua would be a slight favorite. I haven't got too much else to say. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. It means a ton, and I will continue making prediction videos for MCC and Block Wars and MCSR Ranked. And also, if you want, you can check out my other videos where I do a lot of MCSR Ranked commentaries and just any of my other predictions in general, if you want. So yeah, once again, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. And I'll also see you for MCC Twitch Rivals Color of the World. Adios.